Beautiful. We are just beginning. We're excited. This is Coach Wink from the LILJ with my man Big E, Ellis Joshua. Ellis, how you doing today, pal?
I'm doing great, Wink. Counting down the days till the start of the High School Winter League 2023.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting, and it's bigger and better than ever. This year we have 48 teams, 40 we have 34 girls teams, 28 varsity, 6 JV, and 14 varsity boys teams. So it's the biggest league we've ever had since we started it during COVID 4 years ago. So it's pretty exciting. One of the things I think we're going to do is we're just going to go through the matchups um, for Sunday. Not all the boys teams are playing, but all the girls teams are. And then we'll do another one of these next week early to talk about the boys teams that we didn't get this week. I think there's 4 boys teams that aren't playing this Sunday, and we'll talk about them in next week's podcast. So we're going to start it off with our 7 a.m. game. 2 locals, Westhampton and Rocky Point. What are you thinking, E?
That's a really good Class C matchup right there from Suffolk County. So if you remember, we covered them towards the end of the regular season last year when they were fighting for that 3 seed, which Westhampton ultimately got. But that's the matchup that we're getting started with here in the Winter League. So we'll start with Westhampton, just talking about some of their top guns. Of course, you got Reese King, the Carolina-bound junior. Reese, she's like the ultimate. Really, she's kind of like a positionless player when you think about it. Like there's no true position I would say you can attach to her because she can excel from the mid, at attack, draw circle, draw controls. Like she pretty much does everything for that team. So her along with you got Lily Graves, another one, midi / defender, can kind of play multiple positions. Lily Graves going to Binghamton. Then you got the 2026 midi Ava Derby. That is a name that look out for her. I mean, I know we've kind of been saying her name a lot over the last like year or so, but now coming in as a sophomore, a little more seasoned, a little more experience. Definitely look for Ava Derby to have a big opening game in game 1 here.
Yeah,
And
she's
then
gonna make a lot of. I think she's gonna make a lot of noise this year.
yeah, I can absolutely see that as well for sure. And you can't mention Westhampton without their goaltender, the last line of defense, Maya Farnan, the UPenn bound goalie. I mean, we've seen her just stand on her head like over and over again. This is going back a couple years ago. So she often makes the impossible possible when it comes to making saves. Some of those saves that really like she probably shouldn't have any business saving, but she finds a way. But I'm really excited for this Westhampton team, and
Yeah.
I guess we can kind of transition to their opponent now, Rocky Point, and they got some players too. They're another contender in Suffolk Class C. You got, of course, the Maryland-bound midfielder Kylie Lamoureux. So I think this offense really kind of starts with her, and she's another one that's going to be such a vital part of this Rocky Point team. Then you got Kaylee Moeller as well. She's a 2026 attack / midi. She can kind of play different positions as well. And then speaking of Moeller, you got her sister Mackenzie. How about the lefty attacker? I
Yeah,
know she
one
had
thing I got to tell you about this squad. I mean, it's unfortunate. It looks like Fiona Vu, who's the Brown commit, is not going to be playing this winter. I'm gathering she's playing a winter sport and has a little too much on her plate. I guess being an Ivy League student, she probably got to study a little bit, right?
That's true. That's true. Fiona Vu, of course, going to Brown.
Yeah, and then I mean, you got some young guns, and then how about Breezy Hankey, who committed to UMass in the
Yeah,
net?
yeah, they got a very good goaltender as well. So it's just so interesting because when you look at this type of game, like I feel like there's as equal a chance of it being like a high scoring shootout because of the players that they have on offense, but like at the same time, this could also be a 6-5 game
Yeah.
just simply because of the goaltenders that they have on their respective teams.
Yeah, if they get hot, watch out. I agree with you there. Yeah, that starts us off at 7 a.m. It'll get the blood flowing at least for you, E, because you're going to be there till 11:30 at night. I think we got 20. Let me see how many games we got tomorrow. 22 games in opening Sunday
That's gotta be a Winter League record.
for sure. And we didn't get two. We couldn't go past midnight, so we couldn't get the other 4 teams in. So they'll have to play 2 games on Thursday on the boys' side. The second game is Westhampton's JV because we started the JV division, which I got to say, I'm really excited about this because it gives us an opportunity to go watch some really young guns because a lot of the JV programs, besides having freshmen and sophomores on it, they have 7th and 8th graders on their teams. They move them up depending on the community. So we're going to have a Westhampton JV squad, which is going to have a lot of good players. Some of those players might end up making the varsity. And then a club team, YJ Duswalt, which is a Yellow Jacket team that is predominantly Suffolk kids. They have some Nassau kids too. So I'm popping up that scale. I know you have their roster. I'm excited to see because a lot of these kids we're going to be seeing for either the first or second time. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I know Westhampton, that was a program. They brought a JV team last year as well. So there's some names on that roster that we'll definitely be seeing again this year in the Winter League. I mean, players. How about you got Ava Derby's sister? You got Joe Derby. So you got the Young Gun Derby on this JV team. A name I think last year that kind of opened some eyes that played really well for their JV squad was Ava Fiala.
Yeah, the defender. I got to coach her in the summer. She's a really tough kid. I agree. Yeah, she has an older sister who plays in college as well. I believe she's at Duquesne, who played for Westhampton a few years back. And you got some good young guns in there. The kid that impressed me last year was the girl who's unfortunately got a waiter turn behind Farnan, but Mia Brown.
Yeah, Mia Brown. Yep.
Tremendous freshman goalie.
Yeah, she actually. So I remember last year she got some time those first couple games on the varsity team filling in for Maya Farnan, and I thought she did an admirable job stepping up as an 8th grader and playing in a couple varsity games last year in the Winter League. But there's no doubt that her time will come on the varsity program at some point.
Yeah, there's some good young guns, and then on the YJ team, it's funny you have some Westhampton kids on that team, like Georgia Beasley on both teams.
Yeah.
That's Dagny Beasley and Charlie's little sister, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Charlie's there on the boys Westhampton team. He's a stud goalie for the boys Westhampton team. And then Dagny is a varsity defender. And then little Georgia, I think she's a 29. What is that, a 7th grader?
Yeah, 7th grade. That's right.
Yeah, they got some good kids on that team. I mean, I've seen some of these girls in the past. Giambone, Cameron Hagan, Harper Carp. I'm just looking at their roster. I've seen some of these girls play for their club teams. So you're going to see some of the top 7th graders competing, which is cool. You know, in the girls' game, I've seen it. I mean, I remember back when Middle Country was really good, and Kate Tamarki was in 7th grade. She was on the draw circle as a 7th grader with like 2 12th graders that were going to Cornell and BU, and she was just as good as them in 7th grade. So
yeah, that's what builds, like, it builds toughness, and it also just helps you get more seasoned and get more experience playing against players that are older than you. Like it can't ever hurt.
Yeah, in the girls' game, you can do this. In the boys' game, it's much more difficult because of the physical size. But the girls' game, girls mature earlier, and they also, it's not, even though the game has become more physical, it's not obviously as physical as the boys' game. So, but you definitely see 7th and 8th graders stepping up. I remember last year, and we'll talk about this girl in the future. There's a young lady from Bayport that I thought had a really good winter league, and she's playing for a few teams. You want to jump to the 8:30 game? That's a doozy with Bayport varsity against Smithtown East.
Yeah, that's going to be a game where, going into this league, like Bayport, they gotta be among the favorites to win the whole league. They gotta be right up there with St. Anthony's. But yeah, let's talk about the reigning Class C state champs, the Phantoms. I mean, this is another one of those teams where it's like, where do you begin? Like we could start with the midfield. Of course, you got the Maryland commit, Ava Mine, another one of those players that's just a beast on the draw circle. Like she's a player that, in my opinion, like if you need a draw, like it's must have. She's right up there as someone that I would pick in a draw situation where I gotta have it. So she's right up there, and she's got just a cannon of a shot. It's unreal. But you got her, of course. You got Aubrey Eisfeld, the Cuse commit, speedster, track star. She's another one that just really excels, really everywhere on the field, is going to have a big time winner. Then how about their attack? Like I think Erica Crucier is going to have a huge winner. Like I was on the Erica Crucier bandwagon. This was like 2 years ago when I first started doing some commentary for the Winter League, and now, like fast forward, she's a junior now, going to Stony Brook. So I think she's in for a big winter. But this team just has a plethora of talent. Like
yeah, I'm looking at some of the girls that are committed. Emma Shanahan, who's going to Quinnipiac. You got the goalie, which is kind of cool. Shannon Alden, who she's also committed, right, to Quinnipiac?
Yes, that's right.
She has not really started a varsity game because they had arguably the best goaltender in the senior class last year in Felicia Giglio, who's at Navy now. But I think she's, for people who don't never seen this young lady play, she's an excellent stopper.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's interesting. She, obviously losing Giggs is big because she's like that seventh defender.
mm-hmm.
We can't be remiss and not mention the Stanford commit, Emma Brown, on D, though.
Of course. Arguably the best defender, in our opinion, the best defender on the island in the class of 25.
Yeah. She will not be at this game because she's going to be at a Stanford function. She's going out to Palo Alto, California, which for those of you who've never been there, I strongly suggest you visit it. It's one of the most beautiful places in America. And she's got to be out there for a Stanford. I guess they're doing like some type of prospect. They bring their commits. I guess they'll bring their juniors and their seniors, which is a great idea. I noticed a lot of the schools do that. It's a great way because you're putting them up against the kids that are trying to go to their school. And if a kid excels against them, obviously that must mean they're pretty good.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now Smithtown East team got some names, some superstar names that are not Smithtown East girls, I've noticed.
They got a mixture of girls from different programs. So I mean, some of the names that they have, like Caitlin Barnes, of course, Islip girl. You got Jaden Pirano from Hills. So they have a mixture. Sophie Conti from Babylon. So that they have a mix of like kids of their own and also kids from other programs. But like some of their own kids, like how about Jenna Soto, the Northwestern bound attack?